What's going on, guys? Welcome to Craniac Gaming. Kaz Cray back with another video, and this is a little different than what I usually do on this channel. As you can see from the title, this is actually a recruiting guide, and this is actually going to be the first episode of this series. The series is mainly going to be on Patreon, but I will do like previews for every episode on my YouTube channel. This one's a little freebie for you guys, and this is basically how I do recruiting. It works out for me. And I feel like if you do it the right way, it'll definitely work out for you as well. So how this is gonna work is I'm gonna put this first episode out for free on YouTube. But if you guys wanna see more episodes of the recruiting guide series, then you guys are gonna have to pledge just $1 to my Patreon, and you'll get all the episodes that I upload and all that for a measly $1 a month. So if you guys are interested, the link to my Patreon page is in the description. Now let's get started. So usually the first thing I do when I start a new dynasty, or like when I'm starting the season, I look at my team needs. This is very important just so you guys know what positions you should be focusing on when it comes to recruiting. I do all my recruiting on my own, but I'll show you how to do that in just a moment as well. So you see Colorado State's gonna need a center next year. Definitely gotta pay attention to the juniors and seniors just in case somebody decides to declare early. But obviously seniors, this is their last year, so you got to pay attention to those numbers. If it's red, then you're going to need that position. You're going to need to focus on that position. So my focus is going to be center, outside linebacker, middle linebacker, corner, and free safety. In order to change the settings to make it so you can completely control recruiting, you would have to go to recruiting strategy above depth chart in the preseason mode. And you have recruiting board assistants, scholarship offer assistants, visit assistants, and locksmith assistants. I usually turn them all off just because I want to be in full control of all that. Then obviously you pick your defensive style that you want your defense to run. That basically dictates your needs from a year-to-year basis. Then you look at position preferences. This only really matters when you have the CPU helping you out. If not, overall, then you don't really need to worry about it too much. And then we go to position balance. Again, this is only really necessary when you have the CPU helping you. If you're doing it by yourself like I am, then you don't really need to worry about this too much. Now, the next thing we're going to look at are pipeline states. And basically, pipeline states are just states where you have a lot of players from. So obviously, Colorado State being in Colorado, they're going to have more of their players in Colorado. They also have California and Georgia as pipeline states. And pretty much the more players you have in a certain state, then the higher the chances that you're going to get some of the better recruits from that state. Not necessarily better, but you'll get more of them. And you need at least 6 players for a state to be a pipeline state to start off. And now we get to the fun part. Now you know what your team needs are. Now you know what your pipeline states are. And now you get to pick your recruits. You get to fill out your recruiting board. Now, how I like to do it is I like to highlight interest level first because I want to see who's interested in coming to the school. Now, Colorado State isn't really a great football team, so mainly they're going to get a lot of 3 stars, 2 stars. Some 4 stars show some kind of interest, but mainly their #1 priority players are going to be like 3-star guys, at least to start out. Like once you start winning more games, then obviously more people will want to come to your school and whatnot. And there you see we have 3 outside linebackers who are 3 stars that have Baltimore State #1 on their list. That's a pretty big deal. So we're going to highlight all 3 of those guys. Or we're going to target all 3 of them, that is. Not highlight, but same thing. Then we're going to target the center. Then we're going to target a guard as well. You can move guards to center, and sometimes it actually benefits their overall. So we'll do that. Then we have a few athletes prioritizing us second. With athletes, you want to check their ratings first before you pick them up. So if they look like a linebacker type, then go ahead and go after them. Now, I'm still going to highlight this guy, but he doesn't really look like too much of a linebacker. He looks like more of an offensive player, a running back to be exact. So I'll highlight him. And we got another center there. So I'll pick him up, another outside linebacker and a middle linebacker. We'll get those guys in there. We got some corners. And usually, as far as needs go, I like to pick about like 15 to 20, sometimes 25 players. If I need a lot of players next year, I'll do 25. But usually I keep it between like 15 and 20, at least as far as needs go. And if I see a really good player that's interested in us, like the receiver who's 89th in the nation, I'll pick him up as well just to get like a good receiver going forward, because he might be an upgrade over what I already have. So now next up, this is a trick that Legion of Nerds actually showed me. Go subscribe to him. His link's going to be in the description. If you sort by squat, you're going to find a lot of guys that are like gems pretty much. Even like they're like 1 or 2 stars. You'll find a lot of gems that way. And now we go to scouting. And Colorado State starts off, at least as far as the 17-18 rosters go, they start off only being able to unlock 50% of the scouting for any single player. Now, through the coaching skill tree, you'll be able to upgrade that as you progress along in your dynasty. I'll show you more of that later on in the series, so maybe a few episodes down the road. But pretty much just scout as many players that are enticing to you as possible. And usually what I'm going to do, which you're going to see in a second, is if a player is like a bust, or like not even a bust, but it's like he's pretty close to a bust, which means there's a red arrow going down and it's like -6 overall or something like that, and there would be like a red busted gems symbol right next to him. I think that would be there instead of the arrow, but there's an arrow right there, -3. And Brandon Tanner is somebody I would usually take off anyways. I'm going to take him off in just a second, but he's 3 overall worse than what he was projected to be, so I'm not going to put him on. I'm going to replace him with somebody else, preferably a much stronger player, I would say. But yeah, a lot of the guys on the list that you're gonna make, a lot of guys on your recruiting boards are gonna be worse than what they're projected to be. Some will be better as well. And you see another guy, -3, and Andrew Snyder, the athlete that we were looking at earlier. And there's a -5, so I'm gonna take him off. Anybody who's like really like a lot worse than he's supposed to be, just take him off. There's no point in keeping them on when you can be pursuing a lot better players. Now, later on in the season, if you don't get the guys that you want, if they pick other schools, then feel free to put them back on your board and still pick them up anyways. But early, like the earlier it is, the more aggressive you want to be in chasing after top players. Even if you go after guys that are not even interested in you, you're better off putting them on your board early, just so you can at least have a shot at them, because if you do it too late, they're not going to be as interested in you, and that's just an uphill battle you're not going to win. So if you're going to chase guys that are like 5 stars that aren't interested in you, then let me tell you, you're not going to get them. Like, there's just no chance you're going to get them. So get them in early if you possibly can. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this first recruiting tips video. I'll do more videos like this on my Patreon page, like I said. And it's only $1 a month, guys. So if you guys want to see more of these videos, then pledge to me on Patreon. I really appreciate it. You guys would be helping me out a whole lot. And in turn, I'm helping you guys out. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed the content, hit the like button. Hit the sub button as well if you're new to the channel. My name is Kaz Cray for Craniac Gaming. You guys have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day, night, or whenever you're watching this video. I'm out of here. Deuces.